What's up, you guys? This video, we're talking about the mother wound. Maybe mother and father, but yeah, I just posted on my community post the fatherless video that Dr. Kim just did, and I really love Dr. Kim. She's so, soft-spoken, and she really is relatable. And this is a big thing for me. I never been to therapy or nothing because I don't feel like I really need to go to therapy because I'm already aware of this stuff. Like, God has revealed everything to me that I need to know about my childhood, about my life, about why I am the way I am, who I am, why I am that way. And it was through him sending me into isolation, sending me on my spiritual journey to reveal these things to me. So I don't feel like there's nothing that a therapist can do but confirm and reassure the things that I already feel inside. And that's what she kind of does. So it's kind of more like, just for me, like having a community of other people that can relate. So I love when I look in the comments on these videos. Like, this one is so this is Dr. Kim, and I just posted my community tab about the fatherless video because, a lot of us have a father wound. Men and women, we have a father wound because of either having a dad that was not involved, having those abandonment issues from just your dad leaving, not being there, or having a dad that was in the home but was emotionally unavailable. He never, came out with the family. And even if you guys went out in the public, it's about what's going on in the house. And I always talk to y'all about that. People in society are so big on showing up to society as a big happy family, but at home it's a completely different story. There's no attentiveness to the kids. You go out to the park and you act like you're this big happy family and theme parks and all of that, but when it comes to everyday basis in the house, you're here, mom is there, kids are there. There's never no communion, no community in the house. Never no sitting around the table to eat dinner. Never no talking about how was your day, how was my day. Like, the kids been able to equally express themselves. Just emotionally distant, just like a house full of no love. Bunch of people in a house with no love. A lot of us face this, whether it's with your dad, with your mom, with both. And a lot of us are parentless children. We have parents, but they never really parent. They never really parented, outside of the providing a house, clothes, food. That's what a lot of these parents feel like their only job was to do. They feel like they did their job and that was what they were supposed to do. But there's several components to being a parent, and you're teaching your children how to build relationships with other people based on how your relationship is with them. And it's just so interesting to me. It was so triggering to me because you have people that are really, these same parents will be out here looking for love from the opposite sex, or some from the same sex. You'll be looking for love from a person, and you can give them more love than you ever even gave your children. For some, they can't, but they're requiring a love from a man or from a woman that you can't even give to your own children. So why do you feel like you're deserving of a certain love, but you feel like your children aren't deserving of that love, that attention, that affection, the hugs, the kisses, the affirmations of telling them that they're beautiful, telling them you love them, giving them hugs, giving them kisses, being there to, when they fall, to pick them up, let them know everything is gonna be okay, and dealing with these narcissistic mothers, narcissistic parents in general. They are selfish, they're self-centered, and a lot of times they feel like because they've been through certain things, it's okay for you to go through those things too. Oh, I had it worse. Oh, I had to struggle too, and it's just sad. And growing up with these type of parents really make you feel just alone in life. I just can't believe, that I say that all the time. It's like it's hurtful to have had a mom, but still had to figure out life by yourself. It's like, what good are you for then? What good are you for? And this is why when I reached of age, this is why I was happy as heck to go away to college. And the only reason I ever came home from college was because of my boyfriend. That first year, my freshman year of college, I think my freshman and sophomore year, because sophomore year is when I broke up with him. And I was like, I'm tired. I don't even want to, my mom don't really even want me coming home. Like, she's not excited to see me when I come home. I literally would only go home on the weekends just to go home to see my boyfriend. And then even with him after a while, it was like, dude, you ain't really doing much. You can really come up here and stay with me, you know, on the weekends. You could come up here, stay with me in my apartment up here. But he didn't ever want to come to Baltimore. So I was like, I'm not even coming down here no more. And I started meeting people up there and everything. And I was just like, it was no point in me ever coming home. I would only come home on Thanksgiving and Christmas, you know, just to see my niece and stuff. And it just really, come on, Ari. It just really crazy to me because I would observe other people, and now I'm thinking about it, I would observe my other friends, like, and see how their moms loved them. Their moms had no problem with picking them up all the way from college. My mom, you know, I had to ride the train home. My mom was not doing all that. It's like she was not going to go the extra mile for me. It was like, sent you off at 18. She did. I think it got me my first books. I think she sent me like $100-something to get my first set of books for college. And after that, it was like, girl, to hell with you. Figure it out. And I think sometimes she envies me because she set me up to fail. You wanted me to just have to figure out everything and to fall flat on my ass. And you see that I didn't. And even the times when I did, when I had moved back to her home, you know, because of the relationship issues I was going through with my baby dad, like, you know, I feel like she liked that for me. It's like, I realized with her when I'm having these struggle seasons in my life, it's like she actually is a little happy about that. Because I've made it so far and did so much in my life without having to reach out and call on mommy. Like, I figured stuff out. I really have been out here figuring life out by myself. And I've always just felt alone in the world. And I still feel alone in the world. But now I know for a fact that I have God with me. And it's a beautiful experience. It's a beautiful feeling to know that I have God. Like, he's the one who has revealed my purpose to me. He is the one that's revealed these issues that I've been going through. And it was just interesting when I just saw this video, Symptoms of Being Motherless When You Actually Have a Mother. Y'all really got to check out her channel. And to see so many of us in the comments. You all right, baby? Slow down that juice, girl. But yeah, you need to slow down. You know, it's just interesting to see so many of us can relate. Like, this is the type of stuff I really follow on YouTube. It's not a lot of entertainment stuff that I watch on here. It's things about education and things about healing me, because I don't want to be jaded forever. I feel like I don't even know how to become completely unjaded, but I'm also learning to just accept people for who they are. But it's just interesting to see so many of us have these same stories. Like, we're like wow, like you literally have lived my life. And it's not to say that, you know, some of us have had really terrible parents, and I would never say that my mom was just completely terrible, like she just beat me up every day, because some people have really gotten physically abused every day. Some people's parents really did never provide no cable, no water, no nothing. My mom definitely had food in the house. Like, you know, we didn't always have, you know, we had things. It wasn't maybe a lot, but we had stuff. We lived in a nice house. She moved us to a nice house. You know, when the cable would go out and I call her and I say, the cable's off, Mom, you didn't pay the bill, she would call and do whatever she had to do, make her arrangements or whatever to get the cable back on. But it's just like, her presence wasn't home. For one, she was working a lot, you know, and I understand you had to work a lot, but it was, for me, it was the things after work, that you get off work and you still, either it's about your husband or you don't want to be bothered with me. You're hitting the streets. You down martinis all the time, or you here, you're there. And when I was living with her, before I moved into my own place again in 2019, it was 2019. When I lived with her for that, like, it was like a year. Because when I moved from my baby dad house in June 2018, I moved out of his house because I just couldn't take it no more with him. And I moved with my mom, and I moved out of her house in November 2019. So I stayed like a year and a few months. And, you know, I just never really felt secure there. I never felt like I was just comfortable there. But living there during that time, it did make me realize, like, wow, she literally used to be gone this much. And while I was a teenager, while I was just young, and this is why I had boys over, and this is why I was just doing everything, because no one was home. And then even when she would get off work, she would hit the streets. And it's just interesting because it's a girl that I follow on Instagram. She from Baltimore, and I just see her, and it's like she reminds me of my mom. Like, she's a Sagittarius like my mom, and she's like loud like my mom, and she's entertaining. Yeah, you know, they're kind of funny people sometimes, but it just, she does the same type of thing. It's like she works a lot. The girl works a lot. She's always working, but right after work, she hitting the streets. She hitting the streets, and I see her daughter, you know, her daughter in me. And like, I look at her daughter and I see that girl that I was, you know, and she thinks she's doing everything because she buys her daughter all this nice stuff. And one thing I can say about this girl, she actually do cook some home cooked meals all the time. She do be cooking some home cooked meals, but she gonna cook them meals and she gonna hit the street. So I can say that my mom cooked sometimes, but most times I was cooking my own food. I was doing everything for myself. I literally had to fend for myself. That's why going to college was easy for me. I, for one, felt free. I had my own, once I moved into the apartments, I had my own space and everything. So it was easy for me because I was used to feeding myself. I was used to getting myself up for school. I was used to having control over my own life. Like, I always had to fend for myself. Like, I got myself up for school. Even when I was in, you know, regular grade school, I always was doing that. Like, if I had made sure my homework was done. So college was the same to me. It just was like, I didn't have to go to college and get wild, because I actually went to college and calmed down because I had already lived that life when I was at home. Like, I already was doing things on my own. I already partied so much doing this. So by the time I got to college, I was pretty much partied out. I still did party sometimes, but I was really there to do my work, smoke my little weed, work, and be chilling with my niggas. That's what I used to do. Like, that's what I used to do, you know. But, you know, just seeing this, it just really just shows that, you know, but just listening to this video, it really did just remind me of why I operate like I do. And having these mother wounds, it really do affect how, these mother and father wounds, it affects how you deal with interpersonal relationships. You know, it affects the way you feel about yourself. You know, I never felt like I was truly loved for me. I was never really seen or heard, you know, I didn't really know how to truly be me because it wasn't safe to just be who I am, you know, show up authentically as me, you know, just feeling like, okay, I have to always just walk on eggshells. Like with narcs, you always feel like you're walking on eggshells. You don't know what you're going to get from them, who you're going to get today. You don't really know who you're going to get. So you got to just kind of like play it safe. You don't know if you're going to say one thing that might trigger them. You know, it just really puts you in a place where you really do feel alone in the world. But one thing about it is I now feel so good because I know I have God with me. I have the Holy Spirit with me who has been leading the way, who's helping me heal, who's revealing everything to me. And one thing I can say is I just don't understand, though, how as a mom you cannot have that emotional connection to your children, because I'm so emotionally connected to my children. As much as I am disconnected from other humans, my children came from me. So like, they came from me. So it's like, how can I not have a loving relationship with them? How can I not, you know, call them beautiful and just hug and kiss them and love them and be close to them? And I can't not do that. Even though I didn't receive that, I still know how to give that, because that's just the nurturer in me. That's the love I have to give. I really have so much love to give, but I just realized that like a lot of humans aren't really worthy of that love from me. So I pour it all into my children. Like, I pour it all into my children because they are deserving of it, you know. And that's why I just talk to my kids, especially, like, of course, my 7-year-old, she just turned 7. And when I look at this little girl, I just see how I used to be, the sweet girl that I used to be before pain took toll on me, before I became, you know, broken and jaded and hurt and kicked down for being fat, called these names by my mom, called these names by my cousins, by the people out in the world. You know, before I was really treated like this, I see that sweet girl. I'll be like, I used to be just like you, so sweet. She's so sweet, so loving, so giving, such a helper. She's the same. It's like looking at me all over again. Before I became the sour side, and I'm still a sweet girl, but I'm just so guarded now that I don't trust anyone. I have major trust issues, and I don't have the capacity to even want to build personal relationships because I just feel like it's just like it's going to take too much out of me. I have, at this point, I'm trying to love on me, and nurture my children, and pour all of that into them, pour it into my purpose, you know, pour it into God, keeping God first, because it's God. I give it all to God, the reason why I'm becoming a better woman. What? Here. And then this one is the sour child. She the sour child. That's the other side of me. You know, but just feeling all these feelings of unworthiness and just feeling like, you know, it's for certain things that you just don't forget when you have these type of parents, you know, selfish, entitled, victim blaming, you know, victim acting per se. It ain't even that they're the victim blaming. They act like the victim when you bring certain things to them. It's like, well, I had this, and it's never like they can take accountability and just be like, dang, you know, I'm sorry, or I didn't even, you know, just to be comforting to you, not even make excuse, just to say, dang, I messed up and I'm sorry, you know. And, you know, just looking at some of these comments, it just like, wow, we really live the same life. And I really feel like that. I just be like, you know, I never really had an emotional connection to neither one of my parents. I never had that emotional connection to them. So for me, it's like, I don't really miss what I never had. I can yearn for it, but at this point in life, I've realized that it's like, I've accepted that unless she's really doing the work, both parents really, but unless they're really doing the work, you know, they're always going to be triggers for me, because they're going to say something that once again, or do something once again that just like take you back down memory lane for the constant wounds that you've already always faced from them. You know, that's why for me, I just think it is best that I'm no contact with my mom. I only feel bad because I'm once again just considering how she feels about showing up to the world as this, you know, got it all together woman that appears that she got it all together. My kids are this. I have a house. I have a car. I have a career. You know, so you know, I already told y'all in those videos before that, you know, she makes it seem like I ruined the family, and because of me acting like this and going no contact. So it's showing that everything wasn't all picture perfect in her life. And you know, narcs like to show up like, everything's good. Everything is good here and there. I have the perfect life. I'm just doing it. I'm doing the damn thing. That's how they like to show up as, and it either furthers from the truth. You know, and at one point I did think that, you know, we were kind of close, but as I really reflect and I look at how my friends are with their moms, you know, how other girls are with their moms, I'm like, dang, me and my mom was not close at all. You know, I think as I got into my 20s, well, not even as I got into my 20s, but when I moved back with her, I think during that time is when we actually started talking. But even still, I realized when we talk, we're only talking about other people. She's the type of person that we're not really talking about us. We're not talking about anything that we really been through. We're talking about us, but more so when it comes to relationships. It's like, I don't want to only talk about guys all the time. I don't want to talk about other people. I don't want to gossip only about the shows. And I feel like, that's why I feel like with my mom, I feel like I'm not missing out on nothing. You know, it's sad to say that, but I don't feel like I'm missing out on nothing. This is why I really don't have a problem being no contact. It's just because of what society makes you feel like, oh, honor your mother and honor your father. And, you know, you only get one mother. And, you know, they make you feel bad for not dealing with your parents, when it's like I'm at peace not having to deal with them. And even how it's like, invalidate my feelings about my dad. She thinks my dad was a good dad. I'm like, because he sent you money. It's always about money. So, and it makes it just so much that it had revealed to me about why I act like I do, why I even put money on a pedestal with people, like, well, how I would put money on a pedestal. And it's because of the grooming from her. And I'm like, and it always offended me when she wants me to, you know, reach out to my dad and just go above him and beyond. And, you know, I'm like, he's the father, baby. He's the father. He's well into 70, 80 years old. Why am I the one that have to seek and do so much work for a person? You know, the video can get really long if I really just go into depth about a lot. So I'm just really doing this to say, like, the constant invalidating of my feelings, that's a trigger for me. And that's why I don't want to be bothered with her or any of them, even my brother, because that's mama's boy. Like, even though he got his issues too, but he's the type of person, that's just who mommy is, and he's accepting that, and I'm not. And that's why I think I was scapegoated. You know, why I've always been the one that speak my mind. That's just who I was. And as I got older, especially like becoming 9, 10, it started to, you know, just being that child that speak up and they call you out. And they don't like that. They like yes men. So if you're not a yes man to them, you are going to get ostracized. You pointing out their flaws when they act like they're not flawed. They act like they picture perfect to the world, like they got it all going on. You know, they don't like for you to point out their flaws. You know, but me, I'm going to call you out, and it's not to make you feel bad, but it's to be real. It's to tell you the truth. It's to tell you how I really feel. And with these people, you can't really tell how you really feel. They don't want to hear how you really feel. They don't care how you really feel unless it's anything that's stroking their ego. They don't want to hear that nonsense. It's nonsense to them. It's lies to them. You know, but they know the real. Deep down inside, they know the real. But it's sad to know that, you know, you've had a parent but had to figure out life all by yourself, just feeling alone in the world. Having to figure out things all by yourself. And they actually take pride in the fact that you do have to do that. They think it's cute. They think it's funny. You know, they think it's funny to see you take these falls and just let you do it. And, you know, of course, you can't coddle a child, of course, but it's like, dang. And then you have so much to say when I do fail at something. Like, who gave me real direction? Who did? Whoever helped me with my work? And then you take credit for anything that I accomplished. They like to take credit for all your accomplishments, but for your failures, oh, I had nothing to do with that because I raised you this way. I did this and I did that. There's no reason why you should be acting like that. There's no reason. But when I'm winning, oh, you can take all the credit for that, huh? And that was even something big for me, like with projects and stuff. Like, that's why I'm so involved with my daughter with, like, doing her projects. I like to help her, you know, because that's something I just never had that help. It was just like, do it yourself. Science fair projects, it's like, do it yourself. Like, everything was just like, do it yourself. Figure it out by yourself. Even with finding my first cars, like, she did give me graduation money. And my dad had gave me graduation money when I graduated from high school. And I used that money to buy my first car. I found my first car or whatever. But it was like she gave my brother cars. And he had several cars that she didn't help him get and all of that. But me, it was just like, you know, even she paid for his school and everything for college. And he didn't, you know, finish and take it serious or nothing. But me, it was just like, send away and go do it on your own. Just like, you know, and I look a lot like my mom, and I even look at myself sometimes and I'll be like, ill. Like, not to say ill, just to be, it just be like, why I look like this lady. Like, I look just like her. She's just lighter. Like, she's just light skinned. And we don't got the same nose because I got my father nose. But the older I'm getting, the more I'm looking just like her. And I'm like, maybe that's why she don't like me, because it's like, I'm a reflection of her. So it's showing the bad things that she don't like about her own self. And even some of the good things about me, it shows where she has lacked or is lacking, and she still don't like that. So it'll make you want to compete with me and be jealous of me, because you see, you know, that I'm different in that area, or I'm better in this area than you were. And instead of just appreciating your daughter for being better like you're supposed to want your kids to do better than you. You're not supposed to hate on your kids because they're better than you, because maybe that they found, you know, had better love lives than you, and all of these things that they be jealous of. Man, I can really just go on and on and on, because even with that, I just think it's so crazy to me how you be talking to my baby daddies, like, but when I was with them, any guy I ever had, it just was like, you had negative things to say while I was with them. And I really think, especially with my first baby dad, I honestly think that she envied that, because she didn't have that. Like, even at the hospital, he was tending to my every need. Both of them were. When I had my babies, they was at the hospital. You know, of course, they was at the hospital and stuff. You know, when I had my kids, like, they both were very attentive. She wasn't there for the second baby because, you know, that was during pandemic, and they would only let you have one person there, which was fine with me because I didn't really want her in there anyway. I just wanted my baby daddy in there with me. That was it. Even he was getting on my nerves there. But my first baby dad, when we had our baby, you know, he was just trying everything to make me feel okay. Like, kept shooting me with the, you know, the stuff to numb you. I forget right now what it's called, but he was pressing that button to shoot some more the numbing stuff in me, the epidural stuff. But it was only taken to one side. Like, I might as well not have epidural, because it only ever takes to one side. Like, it only numbs the left leg every time. But he was just he was like, you want some water? Like, he was just trying to comfort me. And she was like, just leave her. She's fine. This is just part of it. She has to deal with it. But I think you were hating because you didn't have that. You know, she didn't have that. She didn't have that man that took care of her. My first baby daddy really took care of me. Like, yeah, we had our issues and stuff, and he did some petty stuff too, you know, while I was pregnant, you know, and all of that. But overall, he took care of me, and I think she envied that a little bit, because that's something that she never had. She was the one taking care of my stepdad, and, you know, she didn't have that. So I do think that she envied how my baby daddies really do show up. And even with my second one, even with all his mess, you know, she see how he was there, like that they show up for me. And I just think it's a little envy that she has towards me for, you know, me being who I am. And like a lot of these narcissistic mothers do. But it's just sad, because I never want that with my kids. I want nothing but love with my kids. You know, I just want things to be completely different than what I experienced. I want to be there every step of the way. I'm not going to abandon them when they turn 18. I'm not crucifying them, calling them itches and, you know, calling them these names and stuff. I just can't conjure it up in my heart to display that. Yeah, I get to yelling at them sometimes, but it's never like, like doing all of that. And I know how to apologize and, you know, really talk to my children, have an open dialogue with them. It's not just like one-sided, you know. But it's just hard when you've grown up with these persons. You had to figure out everything on your own, you know. You had to figure life out by yourself, and then you get crucified for not knowing certain things. And then the things that you did figure out, they want to take credit. It's like, dang, how you taking credit for that? You didn't put in on this, man. It wasn't you. You know. But it's still all love. I still love my mom. I just don't really want to deal with her. I'm at peace like this. And like I said, the only reason I even feel bad is because I'm worried about how she's feeling, like, you know, because she can't show up to the world how she wants to. But ultimately, it's like, do you really care about me? No, it's just like, it was so evident when she came down here. It's like, you don't really care. It's like you really have like a secret, I don't know, like, why do you hate me? Why do you have like a some type of disdain for me. Like, what did I really do to you? But I once again realized too, a lot of these parents out here do feel like you inconvenienced them, you stopped their flow, you messed up their relationships, they really will blame you for these things. And it's like, even when I was talking to her, about my stepdad before we fell out and everything, and she was like, well, I only stayed for you. I'm like, why are you blaming me once again for staying with this trash? Like, and it's no, because my stepdad, he was never mean to me. Like, he definitely wasn't, but he definitely was not a good husband, and he wasn't really a good leader. He was nice to me though, and he definitely looked out for me like I was his daughter. I can definitely say that, but really, you ain't show me once again what a quality man looks like, And like I always say, my first baby dad, he's just like my real dad. My second one is just like that stepdad. So it's just so interesting how the men in your life and the women that you grew up to, those are the type of same men and women that you gravitate towards in the world, because they displayed to you what love was. That was your first sense of what love was. So you gravitate towards what you know. This is why a lot of us gravitate towards toxic love. We gravitate towards partners that are emotionally unavailable because that's what we're used to. We're used to a person that just provide things for us, or, love bomb us and do that type of stuff. And then, this off and on switch that they have with you, where it's like up and down. You just never know what to expect from this person. And some of us cling tight towards people because of the abandonment issues that we face from our own parents, neglecting us. So it's like everybody else left me, and now I have you. So it's like, I don't want to lose you because everybody else left me, or, so it's just a lot. I know for me, it's hard to emotionally connect. For so long, I've been so tough and, I never cried as much as I have in this 1 year of me being on my spiritual journey. I cried the most this 1 year than I ever have in my whole life, because I didn't even know that what I was dealing with. I think I just bottled everything up inside, and it just made me tough, and it made that anger in me. And now I'm no longer angry. So ever since I've been crying a lot this year, I'm not angry. Do I still have some resentment? Yes. But even, I'm slowly but surely learning just to, it's part of, it helped me get to where I need to be. But yeah, you guys, I walked around tough for a long time, and I'm guarded. I'm very guarded. I don't have an emotional connection to my parents. So it's hard for me to emotionally get close to people. I can't get close to people. I can feel for other people, but I can't get close to you. I'm scared to get close to people. Only people I trust and feel safe with is my kids. I don't feel safe with humans. I don't feel safe with these people. I'm I'm just always like that, like tense around when it comes to getting close. Even with some of my friends that I had, it's just like I talk and I'll hang out with them, but it's like I can't get close. Even in my relationship with her dad, it's like I couldn't really get close, and he would say that, just like you're not there, like. And I just realized I wasn't, especially after dealing with my first BD. That just solidified the pain. I'm like, dang. And now I'm realizing, like, him and my mom have a lot of ways in common. Their ways, it really just, like, it really solidified why I feel how I do. And only person, I don't have the capacity. It's just like, I don't trust people. And God is softening me up, letting me become more vulnerable, not holding everything in, not being have so much anger, and just teaching me how to express myself and how to have some emotional intelligence, how not to just spaz out, go 0 to 100. So when I tell you, he definitely helping me. God is healing me. Listening to these therapists and stuff is more just like for community, somebody else who just also is going through the same thing, who can explain it. But listening to them, it's like they're not teaching nothing really to me. They tell you, okay, just, talk about it, do these type of exercises and stuff. But this is stuff that God already revealed to me, but this is stuff that God already exposed to me, and he's the one that's guiding me through this. That's why I see somebody in the comments, they be like, they've been in therapy for years and years and years, and it's been years and years since they cut off their parents. and they still broken, that's because you need God through this, baby. Real relationship with God. I'm telling you, ain't nothing. These therapists, they can help. They help a lot of people, obviously. But for me, and that's why, like, they say people with like my type of personality, we don't want to even seek therapists, because it's like, what you're telling me, that's why even with me watching this, I'm like, this is stuff that I already tell the people on my YouTube. This is stuff that I already say. This is stuff that I already know. You know, I already know why I have the issues that I have with men. Because of my father and because of my mother. I already know why I don't feel worthy, why I didn't feel beautiful, why I used my body as a weapon. You know, I already know these things. And these are things that God revealed to me. Hey. Calm down. Hey. You know, it's hard when you living a life by yourself and you feel like ain't nobody there to really help guide you make decisions. That's why I only seek leadership from God. And even before I got this close to God, I still used to just I had to use my own better judgment. And if I mess up, all right, learn from that mistake. But overall, it was just trial and error for me, like it is for many of us. You know, but I just pray that God bestow healing on all of us, bestow peace onto all of us, for all of us to just find wholeness within God, for us to let him lead our life, lead us back into our narrow path that he has for us. And just let us live a fruitful life for the rest of our days, you know. Let us to learn to love ourselves and just to be that God and that peace that we need, and be that love, and continue to have that unconditional love for us that no other human can really provide for us. You know, we be seeking for love in all the wrong places, when ultimately we have to be able to give ourselves this love. We have to feel worthy within ourselves. We have to feel beautiful within our own bodies. We have to do the inner work ourselves. We can't be looking for all these things from other people, because if you spend your whole life looking for stuff from the outside, baby, you will never get it. And then you're going to walk around feeling unworthy for the rest of life because somebody else refused to tell you that you're beautiful, refused to tell you that no matter what, they still love you, refused to show up and help you. You know, you got to realize that people do have their own bad issues and demons that they're fighting. And because of that, they can't fully show up for you. That's why part of me has some type of compassion for my parents, you know, but it still doesn't negate everything. It doesn't negate my experience, because at the end of the day, your role as a parent, especially when you know you've been through trauma and you know you hurting, your job is to seek healing. So many people are dodging healing through coping with vices and coping, like I always say in my videos, we coping with everything else. We're using everything else to cope with what's really going on inside of us. And that's only further hurting us and our children, because subconsciously we're passing on those same traumas to our child. It is important for you to do the healing work. It's important for you to go deep and figure out what's going on and go back down memory lane so you can address those issues. It's important to do the shadow work, because when you look at your reflection of you, and that's why a lot of them be hating us. They see we're a reflection of you, the good and the bad. Your children are a reflection of you. A lot of the things that you don't like about your kids, it's a reflection of you, whether you want to believe it or not. But a lot of people are not in tune with themselves, and you don't want to be accountable, and you want to believe that, oh, I did the best I can. Doing the best that you can doesn't mean that you did what was right. It doesn't mean that you did what was really in the best interest of the kids because you thought you were doing what was best. It doesn't mean that. And because of that, you got to understand that these kids are a product of their environment. They're a product of where they came from. And a lot of these type of parents, they don't like their children. The things that they don't like about their children are also the things that they hate about themselves, or things that they wish they could have been. They see their kids are doing better in this area, or, you know, more outspoken or whatever, and they wish that they could have been there. They see that their kids know how to set boundaries, and they wish that they could have set boundaries. They see that their kids know how to let go of toxic relationships without holding on for years and years and years, and they see that and they might envy that because they can never do that. You know, but your kids are a reflection of you, the good and the bad. People want to take on the good traits, or when your kids doing good, when they showing that they're a good reflection of you, when they doing good in the world, you want to take credit for that. But when they doing bad, it's, oh, I have nothing to do with that. I didn't teach them that. I didn't. No, boo. They see how you interact with other humans. They see how you interact with them. So that teaches them how to also interact. It teaches them. So, and that's when I tell my mom that, hey, like, the things you don't like about me are the things you don't like about yourself. Look how blunt and rude you are to people. You're very rude to people. That's why I don't even really like going out to eat with her. I'm like, it's just her demeanor. It's just like, I don't even know the word I'm looking for. It's just like entitlement. Like, you think you could just act like that to people, and you can just say whatever you want to say to people, but nope, let somebody say whatever they want to you. Now it's like, oh, how dare you? But it's okay when you do it. It's cool when they do it. It's a problem when you do it. And you can't be like that with people. And your kids are going to show you exactly who you are. I'm living witnessing it with this one and my other one. I see myself in both children. I see myself. They reflections of their mama. That's who they around. They reflections of me. The good, the bad, and the ugly. And then, of course, they have their own little ways about themselves. But either way, it's still a mix of me and their dad. They're, you know, from their dad, like, But y'all definitely check out that video because it's really good. And looking in the comments, like everybody telling their story. Wow, this girl put in here Psalm 27. For my father and my mother have forsaken me, but the Lord will take me in. Psalm 27. Even if my father and mother abandon me, the Lord will hold me close. And I'm telling you, that's been my experience. My parents may have forsaken me. They may not have been able to give me the love that I needed, but baby, God, I found wholeness within him, and that's why I will never stop talking about him. I will never let these people make me feel bad for believing in God and cherishing God, and them condemning me for having a relationship with God, even though I haven't been to church. It just goes to show you that you can find God anywhere, baby. Get in your own prayer closet every day. God will come right into your own home. That's what God did for me. I will forever, I owe God. I really owe him everything because it's through him why I'm in my purpose. It's through him why I know who I'm dealing with, why I'm safe, why I'm still alive. He didn't save me. He didn't got me away. And I'm with him every day. This is a real relationship. Real relationship. And the things that God has done for me, my mama and daddy could have never, even if they was the most healed version of themselves. That's why I teach my children God, because you need God. And even when you go astray, you never gonna forget your creator. You never gonna forget your maker. God gonna always be the way maker. Even when you go astray, when you get led off your narrow path, God's still gonna cover you. He's still gonna be there for you. You're going to always need God, because when mommy ain't no longer here, and when mommy not there every step of the way, when you out at school, God the one that's with you when I'm not around. You never alone. Don't ever think that God ain't seeing what's going on, things that's going on out here in the world that people doing to you, that you may be afraid to talk to me about. And that's why I even just had a conversation with my daughter now. I'm like, this is why mommy open with you. I want us to always have that connection. You know, even things that mommy do to you. If I say things that offend you, that hurt your feelings, I want you to tell me, mommy, that hurt my feelings, because I don't want to keep doing it to you. So let me know what's real. Like, I'm not too ashamed to be, I'm not just like, I'm the mom and it's do as I say. I don't operate like that. When it comes to certain things, of course, you do what I tell you to do. When it comes to open conversation and how we making each other feel, I want this to be a safe space. This is your home. It's not about just having toys and TV and food and clothes and all the shoes that she got and all the purses, jewelry, makeup. And it's not about that. It's about the emotional connection that we have, the genuine love. And that's my main priority with my children. Like, we done been homeless and everything. We done lost everything and gaining things back now, you know. But through it all, we still had each other. We still had the love and affection between us. When we was at this shelter, that shelter, at this hotel, that hotel, no car, no home. When we was going on, we still had each other and the love between us. We still had conversation. We still have our little handshakes. We still have our little things that we just connect emotionally on. You know, we have the love. We have the communication. We have the bond. You know, and that's what I love. And I know that my mom saw that with me and my daughter, and I think that made her feel some type of way too, because it made you realize, like, dang, like, you were really a good mother. Like, and that's why they try to attack me with that. You really gonna call CPS on me? And I'm still just trying to forgive that, because it's like, why would you do that? You know one thing, if I don't value nothing else, I value my children. I will go to war against anybody over them. You literally got to get through me to get through to my kids. Because about my kids, I will literally black out and go into true mama bear mode, like, to protect her cubs. And you gonna try to be petty and call CPS on me and make it seem like my kids is in harm's way? That was wrong. That was wrong. But to hurt me, because they already know. Anything else you say doesn't bother me, but my kids, I don't even care if you talk about my kids, but you could talk, you could act like you try to condemn my parenting or try to throw insults at me. And I know I'm a bomb mom, and you know too, because you see how clingy my kids are to me, how obsessed they are with me. They talk about my 7-year-old, she talks about me all the time. Even her friend mom could see. She's like, that girl, I don't know. She's like, you must be doing one hell of a job, because that girl love you. And I'm like, oh, thank you. Like, because I do. I love my children. My children saved me, bro. I just told my daughter that. I'm like, y'all changed my whole life. Like, I can never just hurt my kids. They changed my life. Like, this is why I'm pro-life. Like, you don't even know what that baby might do for you. Sometimes the situation might seem like, nah, I don't need to be having no baby. The circumstances is this, but it's through having these kids. Like, my kids is my everything. Like, I would never put nobody before them. If it wasn't for me having these kids, I would have never found God. I would never be healing. I needed this little second baby. I needed both of my kids. Like, and that's why I value them. I do owe them. They don't owe me nothing. They didn't ask to be here. They did choose me. They chose me as their mama. But they didn't ask to be here. So I owe them everything. Everything I have, I owe it to them. But I also have to be a better me. I have to pour into me. I have to love me. I have to nurture me so that I can fully show up for them. Because they are going to get grown and go off on their own way. And I still have to know that you got to be good too for you. Because when they grow up and they go on and have their own life, it's like, what you going to do? So that's why I'm getting in tune with myself, you know, just really in my purpose and finding out other things that I like, getting my other little activities that I like to do, just really finding my place in the world, finding my place in my world, and just trying to really have real purpose in life, you know. So I made this video pretty long. It's kind of like me venting a little bit, but also talking about this, but this made me want to talk about it, just listening to this. You know, I want my kids to always feel safe with me. I never felt so safe with anybody, but I want my kids to feel safe with me. And though they are who I feel safe with, I don't feel safe with anybody else. Nobody really knows the real me but my kids. I can be silly with my kids. I can do all type of weird things, like no goofy shit, like, but I can be just silly, be me. I don't have to be poker face, and I don't have to walk on eggshells. I can just be me with my kids. I can let that inner child out around them without judgment. My daughter be like, oh, mom, like, you know, she'd be like, you're acting crazy. But I can be silly. You want this? What then? The remote? You know, so this video already long enough, but I'll see y'all in the next video. I'm gonna put the link to this video in the the description box because I'm going to try to go check out this video. And y'all need to follow Dr. Kim. Y'all know I'm going to push it on y'all about healing, period. Whether you want to or not, whether you want to hear it or not. If you listen to my videos, you know you're going to have to do some healing, boo. Because you got to become better for you. And if you have children, you need to be able to fully show up for them how they need to. And a part of that is you healing you, getting to know you, and walking in your purpose. You know? So I'll see you guys in the next video. Deuces.